There is a funeral that almost everyone attends, but almost nobody remembers. There are no flowers, no names, no gravestone, and yet someone truly dies every single day. It isn't a stranger. It isn't someone you once knew. It isn't even the person sitting beside you. It's someone who has been quietly living beside you your entire life. Inside every person are two lives. Only one survives. The first is the life you're living now. The second is the life you were capable of becoming. Most people never meet that second person. Not because they lacked intelligence, not because they lacked opportunity, not even because life was unfair. They disappear for a much quieter reason.
No one kills them all at once. There isn't one terrible mistake, one disastrous decision, one unforgettable day. They disappear the way daylight disappears. You never watch darkness arrive. One evening, you simply look up and realize the light has been fading for a very long time. And that thought wouldn't leave me alone. If no single day destroyed that life, then what did?
For a long time, I believed people changed because of the days they never forgot. Graduations, failures, heartbreaks, victories. The moments that divide life into before and after. But the more I watched people, the less I believed it. Lives don't usually change on unforgettable days. They change on completely forgettable ones. The morning you almost started, but didn't. The message you almost sent, but never did. The page you meant to read. The walk you promised yourself you'd take tomorrow. None of those moments felt important. That's exactly why they were. Then one day, I realized something that quietly changed the way I see every morning. Every decision is an election. Not because it changes your future overnight, because it casts another vote. Not for what you'll do tomorrow, but for who gets to exist tomorrow. Imagine two names written on a ballot. One belongs to the person you're becoming. The other belongs to the person you could become. Every ordinary choice places another vote into one of those boxes, quietly, without applause, without anyone noticing. That's why the most dangerous decisions rarely feel dangerous. They feel ordinary. Because elections are never announced. No one tells you when they're happening. No one counts the votes at the end of the day. Life simply keeps counting. And that's why most people never notice the moment their future begins to change. Because it never looked like a life-changing decision. It looked like an ordinary Tuesday. But if every decision is only one vote, then why can one vote sometimes feel
impossible. Why can one person pick up a book without thinking, while another stares at the same book for 20 minutes and still can't open it? The answer isn't hidden inside today's decisions. It's hidden inside yesterday's decisions.
Imagine two people. One has read every day for the last 5 years. The other hasn't opened a book in 5 years. Tonight, they both stand in front of the same book. From the outside, the decision looks identical. Read or don't. But inside, they are making two completely different journeys. One person is stepping into a river already flowing in the same direction. The other is turning around and swimming against the current. The action looks the same. The effort does not. That's why the same decision can require completely different amounts of strength. The river isn't judging you. It isn't trying to stop you. It simply remembers where yesterday was flowing. Every decision adds another drop to the current. Until one day, you stop saying, "I'm choosing this," and you begin saying, "That's just who I am." I think that's one of the most dangerous sentences a person can believe. Because sometimes it isn't your identity speaking. It's yesterday's momentum. Wearing today's face, you're not fighting today's decision. You're negotiating with yesterday's current. Maybe that's why change feels impossible. Not because you're weak, not because you were born without discipline, but because every morning you wake up inside a current that remembers every direction you've ever chosen. But here's the part most people never see. Rivers remember, but rivers are not prisons. They can be redirected, not by one extraordinary decision, but by another vote, then another, then another, until one day the current that once carried you away begins carrying you home. And maybe that's what hope really is. Not believing that one decision will change your life, believing that one decision can begin changing the direction of the next one. Maybe you were never fighting yourself. Maybe you were only fighting the current. And currents can change. Maybe that's why we've misunderstood change our entire lives. We've been taught to wait for extraordinary moments, the perfect opportunity, the perfect Monday, the perfect year, as if our future is hiding inside one unforgettable day. I don't think that's how lives change. I think that's how stories are told. Stories remember the mountain. Life is built in the valley. Extraordinary moments can change your direction, but ordinary moments decide whether that direction survives. Think about a river. It doesn't carve through mountains because of one powerful wave. It changes the landscape because millions of ordinary drops refuse to stop flowing. People aren't very different. One workout won't change your body. One book won't change your mind. One conversation won't change your character. And one missed day won't destroy your future. The power was never inside one decision. The power was hidden inside its repetition. Every ordinary decision quietly asks the same question. Will you come back tomorrow? That's the real election. Not whether you vote once, whether you keep voting after nobody applauds, after nobody notices, after the excitement has disappeared. One ordinary day never feels important. Neither does the next, or the next. Until years later, you look back and realize those ordinary days were the only days that ever mattered. Maybe that's why so many people wait too long. They're searching for the moment that changes everything, while everything has been changing one ordinary moment at a time. That's the illusion. We overestimate the extraordinary because it feels dramatic. We underestimate the ordinary because it feels invisible. But invisible things have always shaped the visible world. The river never needed one giant wave. Only another drop. Maybe the greatest tragedy isn't dying. Maybe it's reaching the end of your life and realizing you spent decades walking beside someone you never became. Not a stranger, not a different person. You, as you could have been. I don't imagine that meeting would begin with words. I think it would begin with recognition. You'd look at them and somehow know. The books they finished. The promises they kept. The conversations they didn't avoid. The mornings they chose to begin anyway. Not because they were extraordinary, because they kept casting votes. And then you'd understand the thing that hurts the most. They weren't more gifted. They weren't more fortunate. They simply didn't stop voting. Maybe that's what regret
really is. Not remembering what you did wrong. Recognizing what slowly disappeared while you were busy waiting for a different tomorrow. The frightening part is, they didn't disappear all at once. There wasn't one catastrophic mistake, one ruined year, one fatal decision. Only ordinary days that looked too small to matter. One vote never looked dangerous. Neither did the next, or the next, until one day there weren't enough votes left for that future to become real. Life doesn't punish you. It doesn't reward you. It remembers. It remembers what you repeated. Maybe that's why you've been carrying so much guilt. You've been judging